Welcome to The Record Show, your virtual spin around the vinyl industry. Brought to you by Radio Wasteland Records. Yes, Midland has a record store. Here's your host, Jim Gleason.
Happy New Year and greetings from the Wasteland. Welcome to another edition of The Record Show. Hopefully you guys had a great holiday season and are looking forward to 2022 vinyl-wise as much as we are here at the store and on our channel. Got a great show to kick off things today. We will talk with the one and only Brett Mitchell, great friend of the store, great musician, and someone who's got a great new album on vinyl headed your way very soon. But first, we're very happy to start off our new year and new set of shows with Ken Norton from Ingram Entertainment. Ken, Happy New Year to you, and thanks again for helping us out with the highlights of the new releases.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
Hopefully it was a good one for you and yours, and we're looking forward to working with you guys for another great year of vinyl stuff.
Thanks. Yeah, well, 2021 was a rough year, but really good for music. Lots of great music and lots of vinyl finds and sales, and just very happy about how vinyl's going. And there's still some great stuff coming. A couple of things coming out this week. You got the LA Guns Best Of package on pink vinyl and the gatefold sleeve. Sam Cooke Portrait of a Legend, 1951 and 1964. It's a great collection, double album collection. It's been around a little bit, but they're putting out a 180-gram clear vinyl version just for indie record stores, and that comes out Friday. And then every year about this time, Rhino Records, the great catalog label, puts out something they call "Start Your Ear Off Right."
Yep.
You see what they did.
Yep.
And there's all these titles are going to be brick and mortar store only titles, not available from the big distribution center in the sky,
Yep,
or any other of their competitors, just at your record stores. So this week, there's a couple of really good ones. Aha's Hunting High and Low. That's coming out this week on vinyl. And that is just, it's an exclusive, hasn't been available before on vinyl, or at least not since back in the day, back in the 80s. Also, Juno soundtrack, the original motion picture soundtrack, that's on neon green vinyl, coming out this week. And Jim, you want me to run down some of these others coming in the next few weeks?
we could. And I think, was this week also supposed to be the Lost in Translation soundtrack? Was that also a Rhino?
It is.
And that's kind of a delayed one, but
exactly.
But yeah, run down what else it's a month-long thing where Rhino releases stuff every week. Hopefully we get it, but there is some cool stuff in this batch.
That's right. So the next few weeks we're looking at Aretha Franklin's Sparkle. That's on crystal clear vinyl. Miles Davis, the Dingo selection from the original motion picture soundtrack. Miles on red vinyl. Richard Hell and the Voidoids, Blank Generation. That's just an exclusive. So is the Monkees, Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn, Jones. And of course, we're saddened by the passing of Vicar Michael Nesmith. The Best of Otis Redding on, I'm not sure what color vinyl that is, but it's on a colored vinyl. Bad Company, Rock and Roll Fantasy, the very best of Bad Company. Quincy Jones, Dollar Sign, that's on mint green vinyl, of course. Ramones, Rocket to Russia, and Urban Cowboy on opaque blue vinyl. And the Grateful Dead, live at the Fillmore West San Francisco, March 1st, 1969. My understanding is this has not been available in any format previously, so it's a big find for Deadheads. And this is not part of this program per se, but we just found out yesterday that there's David Bowie Low on colored vinyl coming this month, and that's for brick and mortar stores only.
Lots to look forward to. Hopefully, Rhino will be able to get these to the indie stores in a good fashion.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Production and UPS willing, we should see those this month.
now you mentioned earlier we all know that 2021 was a rough one, but I am noticing that there are some reissues at the very least. It looked like they're shaking loose. I finally saw that you guys got a good number of Fleetwood Mac rumors, which we haven't seen in probably about 5 or 6 months.
Finally, yeah. Big batch of those came in and went out. All
Yep.
of them have gone out now, but you'll see some there at the Wasteland, and we are expecting some more of that in January, later in
Just
January.
and I know you probably don't know for sure whether this was just like a found batch that they finally got to, or whether it's a repressing.
It's a repressing,
Oh, it is a
and
repressing.
it
Okay.
is a repressing, and they're expecting some more truckloads of it sometime later this month.
That's one that will continually move regardless. So,
And, uh,
hey, there was one other one on this week's new release list that I caught late, and we're going to try to get a hold of some. But this was a surprise to me, and I probably should have been paying better attention in our time off. But Hanson, the brothers Hanson, have a new album coming out this week.
they sure do. They're back, and they can't be held down. Uh, brand new record, and there's an indie exclusive version on colored vinyl.
That should be interesting. I'll do a search and give some listen. Last I heard, I thought they were into microbrewing, that
Oh,
type of
really? No,
thing.
I didn't
I
know
think
about
I'd
that.
read that somewhere, but we'll see how they do musically as well now. They still have it after all these years. Well, cool. All right, Ken. Well, thank you very, very much. And we'll check in with you again next week. But as always, thanks for helping us out with this week's new releases.
Sure. Great to see you. Thanks, Jim.
Joining us now on the record show is not only a friend of the stores, but a great old friend of mine, personally speaking. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Brett Mitchell. Brett, thank you so much for joining us today. This is great.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
I know we've been trying to get you on the show here for a little while. You are a big fan of record stores, I know, but you're also, for folks that don't know you, are a very accomplished musician, not only here in the mid Michigan area, but dare I say, northern Michigan, southern Michigan, pretty much all parts of our great Mitten State. Folks just adore your music, and we're happy to be amongst them as well.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean this state is notorious and infamous for incredible talent anywhere you go, basically.
And you are really amongst them, I'd like to say too. Now,
Oh,
you have
thanks.
been pretty much a solo musician and in bands for a long, long time. Can you give us a little bit of the history about what brings Brett Mitchell to where you are now?
Well, I started out as a drummer, so I don't know, when I was a 14, 15 or something like that, I started just banging around in the garage trying to teach myself how to play. And I basically started playing with other friends, around junior high, high school and stuff, and just kind of picking their brains and seeing what they were doing. And I'd say, "Hey, show me that chord," or whatever. And kind of just became me sitting down with a guitar and just kind of playing by ear and figuring things out. And then I don't know how the singing thing started. I just did it, and then people seemed to like it. I met Jan, of course. She changed everything for me and said, "Man, I really like those songs. You should record them." And then after I started doing some recording, I just kind of went from there, and I haven't stopped.
Now, one of the things I think that really impresses me about your talents is that you are tremendously versatile. You mentioned that you started on the drums, you're singing, you're playing the guitar. But for those of us that have seen you live, and you play here at our record store quite a lot, which I'm very, very thankful for. But for those folks that see you live, they get to see you do this really kind of incredible one man band act, and it all comes together really nicely when you perform.
Yeah, I started doing that I don't know, maybe 3, 4 years ago, maybe even more than that. I don't even remember, but um it started kind of being this thing where, a lot of times when you go see people play acoustic acts or whatever, if it's just one person, one guitar, uh it's good, and it's entertaining, but sometimes you get this like party crowd vibe or people that just kind of need a little bit more going on. I started thinking I'll just get a bass drum and a and my hi-hat, and I'll just kind of play some beats with whatever I was playing, and that kind of seemed to just be like the way that I could kind of get the next level of the acoustic act to be a little bit more, you know, higher energy kind of feeling and stuff. And then yeah, sometimes I play harmonica. I'll play solo shows of harmonica, and then sometimes when I play drums, I'll bring bust out the harmonica somewhere out of my back pocket and play with the harmonica. So yeah, sometimes I'm doing double or triple duty sometimes, but
And it's neat because you can take it very easily, and I've seen you perform a couple of different times where you do one set as a solo acoustic with all of your stuff, and then you just simply scoot right over into a band, and it's like you're not missing a beat there at all. Now, you can talk about being left-brained, right-brained. Do you find it difficult to keep track of all of these things when you're playing the bass drum, you're playing the guitar, you're singing, and you got a harmonica strapped on your neck? Is that something that just comes very natural to you?
yeah, I feel like there's some things that certain songs I should say that I do kind of have to put the one or the other on the back burner. So sometimes if I'm playing a song on drums and I'm singing, if the drums are a little bit complicated or I have to put a little bit more energy into it, it I have to separate them and I kind of have to just put one on autopilot, I guess. But there are some songs where I have to literally be mindful and concentrate on what I'm doing. But then there's other stuff where it's like I don't know what it is. It's just inside me so much that it just kind of comes out like a conversation like we're having or something. So,
That's
yeah.
cool. I think one of the other benefits of something like that is that really opens up your ability to perform pretty much anywhere. I've seen you here in the record store. I've seen you in coffee shops, and heck, it was a brewery in Frankenmuth once, kind of tucked into a corner. You really are able to take your work just about any place.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that's like the one advantage that especially being a songwriter on top of having a full band that plays out, the versatility is kind of at my fingertips because I can, if I had to, I can play real mellow in the corner, like you said, background music, or I can be a front man, with another group of musicians and I'm up front, but now it's a little bit more higher energy. Or I can, we can play mellow band too. We've done shows where we've been full band and we've been like this little cocktail lounge kind of band. And then I've played shows where, yeah, I played Cherry Fest, open up for Mark Farner one year, and we're playing in front of thousands of people.
It's
So I
great.
think that's incredibly important to be able to do, to be able to have the range to kind of go wherever people are going to let you slide in. And it's definitely helped me as far as like surviving financially to be able to just be do whatever I have to do to kind of make a living at doing it. So yeah.
Well, cool. Now you mentioned the songwriting side of this, and this is the main reason for our chat today, is the fact that you have got a new album coming out. How many albums altogether would this one make?
This is my 4th album, yep.
Fourth
4th
album.
well,
Okay.
solo album, I should say. I've done a few other albums with some other people, but, solo, this is my 4th, yep.
Okay, so For the Most Part is the name of this new album. Now, it's
Mhm.
been out digitally for a month or so here, but this is something that we here at the record store have really been looking forward to, is the fact that you've gone that extra step to press this new work of yours onto vinyl. Tell us a little bit about that process, and then we'll talk some more about the album itself.
Yeah, so, basically, the my 2nd album, Small House, I released that in 2007. That album, uh, I had planned specifically to cut it on vinyl. I actually went to Glenn Brown in Lansing. He's worked with so many amazing acts, and he's brilliant. And we actually did an analog, separate analog master to be cut on vinyl, and it just didn't work out. Even back then, it was pretty pricey. I mean, it's pricey now, but I just had to kinda, put it aside and just accept the fact that I couldn't afford to do vinyl at the time and being an independent artist. And then my 3rd album, Falling Apart at the Seams, that came out in 2011, same thing with that, had an analog master made so we could cut vinyl, and I had the whole design even kinda worked out how I was gonna release it and had pre-orders. I probably still owe people money for it, uh, that it never happened, but, so in a sense, this has been in, almost 10 years in the making, wanting to finally get vinyl. And then what, since the past 15 years, you've seen, I mean, you never stopped. I started collecting in like 96, 97, and it was like, a very nostalgic thing then. It was like, wow, uh, this is a whole different experience to listen to music. And then it started just building each year, and you'd start seeing more record stores. But it was still like a kind of not a really underground thing, but it was, you talk to people and they'd be like, "Oh, you still collect?" But now it kind of almost seems like that's the number one preferred,
Yep.
you know? And so i- to be able to do it now, I think it just all the elements work together perfectly, that it's the perfect time to do it, because people are willing to spend 20, 25, 30 bucks on a brand new artist, new artist that they just got into on their new album, and it's not a big deal. Where back in the day, I don't even think I would ever pay $20, $25 for an album unless it was like, hard to find, whatever. So I'm so excited. It's been a long time coming, and it's on Coke bottle, translucent Coke bottle color, 180 gram. And my girlfriend that did the artwork, which is amazing. It's gonna be 12, inches. It's just going to be awesome to be able to see the album cover art in a bigger, format. So, yeah.
It's a cool experience all around. And I remember even a couple of years ago, pre weirdness in the pandemic, you were saying this album's coming out. Here's a song from it. We're going to press this thing on vinyl when we get to it. I know that this has been on your plate for a long time. Tell me a little bit, if you would, about the album. What's it comprised of? What kind of energy are you pouring into it? And just we'll hear a little bit of it in a bit, but I'd like to hear your take on what this album is and what it means to you.
Sure. Yeah. So, yeah, the other part of that was that it's been delayed. And I know that a lot of people have experienced trying to release anything during the past couple of years have been extremely difficult and frustrating. But even despite the COVID thing, it's still a process to be able to, you get, how many done, how many ordered, and it takes time. So yeah, I think the last time we talked, it was supposed to be out in like October or something like that.
Yep.
So yeah, that it's finally coming. Um, I I would say that this album is probably the most personal and, uh all me, because it is all me. I don't have anybody else performing on it. And it was like a couple year process in my studio in my house that I kind of put together. And it was a process because when you rely on your own discrepancy and uh motivation and stuff like that, you have a tendency, I do at least, to put it off and not put the work in like you would if you were scheduled in another, a real studio or whatever. So there would be nights and, days and stuff where I would kind of go down there and kind of work on stuff and get the bare bones down and going. But after you kind of get what you kind of the meat and potatoes set, then I start thinking and listening, and you start doing the producer thing where you're like, "Oh, wait, maybe I could put something there." Or I had a heavy, big old heavy piano that I brought down in the studio, and I don't play piano by any means, but I've always liked just like a little, melody, single note melody kind of thing that's like over top, the main riff or whatever. And so I did
Yep.
a lot of that stuff, some xylophone, and most of the songs are pretty reminiscent of what my other albums are. I'm not reinventing the wheel or anything, but there are some, like, couple rockers that are, you know, I would maybe say have that, like, Elvis Costello, Thin Lizzy kind of thing. But most of it is what most people, if they've already been familiar with my stuff, is, singer-songwriter, acoustic, pop rock, very Beatles-esque, again, not
A lot of your
really.
influences.
Yeah, I mean, I know that I probably wear my influences on my sleeve, but I also have tons of stuff. You know how it goes, where you listen to stuff that people would never even think that you listen to. You're like, oh, you
Yeah.
like the Dead Milkmen and you
Yeah.
know the Dead Kennedys and all that kind of stuff. And so there's a lot of stuff that I think in my head as I'm writing or as I'm laying tracks down that I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be, or this sounds like this, or I'm channeling this or whatever. But maybe no one else would hear it and they'd think, oh, I didn't even think you liked the Ramones or whatever. So I don't know. I'm really proud of it just because it took so long, and I hope people really see that it's like a very grassroots, homemade, from the heart. Put a lot of sweat and tears and hours in it. So I hope that translates through, and hope people see that it's like, oh, this is just one dude doing all this,
Yep.
and in his basement, and it took forever, and now it's out, and let's all enjoy it.
Well, the album is called For the Most Part, and you've got a song you'd like to do and share with
Sure.
us?
Yeah, sure.
Please. What's this one called?
I'm gonna do the first track on the album called "Dropping of a Pin," and this is kind of oh, I would say maybe kind of sarcastic way of saying like, oh, all all this time, and now I don't hear anything from you, and but hey, let's remember the good times, I guess.
Well, let's enjoy this one from Brett Mitchell.
Cool. I know you don't want to hear about how I've been. I know you don't really care about the shape I'm in. The dropping of a pin. And we love, and we fight, and we laugh, and we cry. But I hope you can hold on to the good times. Yes, I hope you can hold on to the good times. While you lie next to him, I hope you remember when love shot through your heart and changed the sparkling stars. And we love, and we fight, and we laugh, and we cry. But I hope you can hold on to the good times. Yes, I hope you can hold on to the good times. I know you don't want to hear about how I've been. I know you don't really care about the shape I'm in. The dropping of a pin. And we love, and we fight, and we laugh, and we cry. But I hope you can hold on to the good times. Yes, I hope you can hold on to the good times. Yes, I hope you can hold on to the good times. Yes, I hope you can hold on to the good times. While you lie next to him, I hope you remember when my love shot through your heart.
Yeah. Well
There you
done,
go.
Brett. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
The album is called For the Most Part, and it is, as we mentioned, available digitally. Where can folks find that digitally? And then we'll talk about the cool part of it.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, basically anywhere you stream. I literally do not know half of the ones that are out. I'm just not that kind of guy. But I do know, yeah, like Apple Music, Google, Spotify, Pandora, Deezer. Yeah, there's tons
They
of
can
other
find
ones
all of them though
anywhere.
from your main website, brettmitchellmusic.com, though, correct?
Yeah, or just usually you could just search Brett Mitchell and usually you can stream wherever. But yeah, Brett Mitchell Music is the website, whatever information. But there's, yeah, links on the website. And but yeah.
Now, the cool part of this then is the vinyl. I know you guys have been waiting for a while. We're expecting this delivery in early January. It'll be late December, early January. These will be in record stores, correct?
Yeah, that's the plan. Like I said, it was supposed to be like I think October. We were kind of looking forward to it being, like a late fall kind of thing, but it just kept on kind of getting delayed and delayed. And then of course there was the whole shipping thing and that, and then Adele made 500,000. No, I don't think it was really Adele, but
No.
I'd like to think that. But
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 record
yeah,
stores around mid Michigan and northern Michigan, we could look for some of
yes.
these.
Yes, exactly. Anywhere there's a record store in at least a couple 100 miles, I guess, from where most major cities are or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, as many record stores as I can find and that they'll sell it and have it, and then it'll also be available through the website and to be able to order it. Have it shipped to you or whatever if
Cool.
you can't make it to a record store.
Well, we are very much looking forward to carrying your new album here at Radio Wasteland Records and doing everything we can to get the word out because we think, and personally, I think you too. You're a great guy and a great
Mhm.
performer, and I love to see you do good work. And I want to share this with as many people like you do.
Well, I appreciate that, Jim. And that goes right back to you likewise. I mean, it's I know that anybody that talks about the shop and that goes in there, they all know that it's a great place and you're a great guy. And it always makes the
Thank you.
experience so much better when the people that work there that own it or that interact with when you're there all love music and
Yep.
they understand why this is so important. It's not just, oh, is another place where you collect a bunch of stuff and it's like, no, this is life-changing stuff. This is stuff that is going to keep your heartbeat
Yep.
beating and waking up the next day thinking, hey, you know what? I forgot I got that one album the other day and
Yeah,
throw that on
absolutely.
and it's like that's the best experience, best feeling ever. But so no, I appreciate it. Always appreciate your
Yeah.
support. So
Well, Brett Mitchell, thank you very much for joining us. brettmitchellmusic.com for more information on that, or look for you on Facebook. And the album is called For the Most Part, and it is online and coming very soon to a record store near you. Brett, thank you very much and best of luck
awesome.
with this release. We hope it goes very well for you guys.
Appreciate that, Jim. Thanks.
So I'll wait the whole day through, just to sleep and dream of you, dream of you.
Baby, right round like a record, baby, round, 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 round. You spin me right round, baby, right round like a record, baby, round, 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 round.
Thanks for watching The Record Show. If you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe to the Radio Wasteland Records YouTube channel. And be sure to hit that notifications bell so you'll be alerted every time we upload new content.